we've all made it through the hectic holidays. We're into this new decade now, and this is the perfect time to pause and check in with yourself. Okay, when we talk about that, we usually call that self-care. Kind of sounds like a buzzword, right? Well, a local psychologist says there are lots of ways to take care of your mental and physical health, and they don't have to cost anything more than just a little bit of time and maybe a little bit of energy. The Morning Show's Megan McCabe has been on a self-care journey of her own lately. I find it inspiring, and she joins us here now to, can I just say, cut the crap?
Yeah, exactly.
To cut the crap and get to the heart of why this is all so important. Good morning, Megan.
Good morning, Chrissy.
So I like that message. We cut the crap because it does sound like a little bit of a buzzword, right? So when you hear self-care, how do you take that?
Well, I think, because I've learned a lot about it over the past few years, it's a lot different, but it used to seem really daunting to me, and it would be like, oh my God, you have to work out for an hour, so I need my gym membership, and I have to get there, and I don't even have time to cook dinner, so how am I going to do anything? And then it's really easy to feel overwhelmed and do nothing, not even go for like a 10-minute walk, right? I mean, I've always been active, and I'd long considered myself like a mentally well, fit person who could write a book about how to look after yourself. But then a few years ago, I was having a really tough time in my personal life, and it forced me to realize that I wasn't actually doing well. In all the busyness of everything, I was tired and cranky and quick to snap at people, and that's actually really common for a lot of us. So as much as I thought that I was doing good things, I wasn't really mindful or properly relaxing when I was doing them. As psychologist Janine Hubbard explains, self-care is fundamental to our well-being.
If we spend all of our time caught up in work and family and schedules, we don't take time to kind of monitor how are we doing in terms of what we're eating, how are we doing in terms of our exercise, how are we doing in terms of our own mental well-being, and taking the time to, whether it's relax, whether it's to do some mindfulness, whether it's just to do some self-care, because there's only so much we can keep burning the candle at both ends before we need a bit of a break.
So that's psychologist Janine Hubbard there. And she mentions, we're in danger of getting burnt out. We all need breaks. We all understand that. Mm-hmm. How do you know, Megan, if you're actually getting there, if you're getting those breaks that are going to help get you through?
If you're getting enough, right?
Yeah.
And so hopefully you can do it early. Like, it doesn't take a meltdown to bring self-care into your day-to-day life, because it needs to be part of your day. Not like, it's okay, I'll relax once a year on vacation. Hubbard says it's taking a step back and asking if anything's changed. Are you having trouble sleeping? Are you feeling sad or irritable? That kind of thing.
So I guess the goal is to actually do this stuff before you're dealing. So to strengthen yourself so that you can deal with these issues.
Exactly. And then this is where mindfulness comes in. And I want everyone to stick with me here. I know these terms can sound a bit ridiculous, but we're really just talking about simple ways to operate a little bit differently. And they can have a huge effect on how you handle challenges and how you interact with other people. As Hubbard explains it, mindfulness is just pausing to notice what all of your senses are taking in. It can be as simple as being aware of the water in the shower instead of zipping through your day's to-do list in that moment.
Don't get me wrong, spa days and vacations are wonderful, but what we're talking about here are far more small daily activities that you can engage in. So it could be something like taking the dog for a walk around the block and pausing to look at some of the footprints in the snow, or look at the trees, or notice that there's birds up there. Embrace some of the nature that is around us.
Well, psychologist Janine Hubbard there again. And Megan, can we talk about the big things? What does she say about eating well, being active? They sound like just buzzwords, but they're big things.
And we hear about it a lot. And I think it's another place where there can feel like some pressure. Oh my God, I ate a Mary Brown's wrap. I'm going to die. You're not.
Nobody's ever died from eating a Mary Brown's wrap.
Well, too many, whatever. But, those are all hugely important. And there's all kinds of evidence to support that. Hubbard talks about the benefit of endorphins from a hard workout, right? And I personally love that. I train for the regatta rowing because I need those workouts and I need the team to help me do it. But not everybody's into that. And she stresses that even a few minutes of walking in fresh air helps reduce your stress levels. So again, it shouldn't be daunting or expensive. Sleep, that's a really big one, and something I know I have a lot of trouble with myself. I don't know about you guys with the crazy morning schedule.
Well, it's hard to, yeah, sleep is a big issue on this shift. And for anybody that's on shift work like this, I hear from other people that do the morning. So, okay, let's talk about that.
I've complained about it myself, yeah.
You've been on this shift, yes.
Yeah, and Hubbard says that sleep and getting good sleep is vital to our well-being.
Setting a really good bedtime routine with some time to wind down and making sure you've allowed that space in your life can have a huge impact. We know it can affect your mood, it can affect your concentration, your memory skills, your socializing. It really impacts all aspects of our daily living.
So the message that I'm getting from Janine Hubbard here is that you can think small on a lot of these things, right?
Absolutely.
Like you're not going to change your diet on a dime.
No.
You're not going to change all your habits on a dime. You can't solve sleep problems in a single night.
Exactly.
Mindfulness is something I've been trying. Mm-hmm. Man, is it ever hard.
Yeah.
To keep your mind exactly where you are at the moment, not dwell on thoughts of the past or what's happening in the future or other stuff. Have you tried it?
Yeah, and that was the
It's
thing
hard,
that
right?
I realized that I wasn't doing it at all, right? Like I would have a nice walk in the woods with my dog, but I wasn't like present or mindful about it.
Because you were like
'cause
thinking
I was
about
like,
your
oh
life.
my God, I got to do this next, and oh, I got to pick that up and blah, blah. I only have an hour and whatever, right? So I think that it's the point that she makes and what I learned that worked for me. Actually, my psychologist was the first person that recommended this was in the shower. Because the concept of like a 10-minute meditation, cannot do it. I did find an app that like I was able to do 5 minutes and work my way up to 10.
Working your way up,
you know? But it's as simple as being in the shower and for like 5 minutes, you're getting that quick rinse, you're just like thinking about the water and like where you are and taking those things in. And that's what the mindfulness is. It's not actually thinking about nothing, but it's like, as Janine described it, taking in what your senses are experiencing in that moment. And then you can just ask yourself those questions and then you've practiced mindfulness.
And then if you happen to have a thought that's about work or something, just let it,
It's cool.
try to let it go.
Exactly.
And
And
go
you
back
can-
to washing your hair. Or
You can
whatever.
go down that road, but if even it's as simple as that. And I noticed that it made me feel a lot more calm by bringing this in a little bit. You can do it commuting to work instead of thinking, okay, I got to get to my desk and do this.
What else does
Driving
she?
down the street, you know?
What else does she have to say about those small changes that we all make?
So the big thing is, she says, what you'll notice is that the changes you'll feel will be very gradual. It's not going to be the instant gratification that everyone is so addicted to. And that can be a part of the problem that people are like, I don't feel better. I'm not doing this. Who cares? Self-care is even just putting away your laundry and cleaning your space and dealing with the not so fun things that you procrastinate, like taxes, maybe. For example, I was a little bit sooky on my birthday this year, so I cleaned to make myself feel better. And it worked. I stopped feeling like a sad sack pretty quickly. And Hubbard says that there are negative side effects to not doing these things, not practicing.
We know that it can lead to actually a lot of physical ailments. We know that if you're not engaging in good self-care, you're far more likely to engage in what we call maladaptive behaviors. So it could be drinking more, could be smoking more, could be unhealthy eating, and we know the health consequences of all of those types of behaviors. So if we're looking for both short-term and long-term health benefits, that's where self-care comes in.
So how do you feel now? I mean, we kind of started in this place where you went down this journey for personal reasons. How are you feeling now?
Oh, so much better. And I think one of the things that Hubbard says is that the people in your life will notice it. And like, I kind of noticed it too, because sometimes like someone might say something that I thought was ridiculous and I'd be really annoyed. Why? It doesn't matter. That person just has a really different take on whatever situation than I do. Why is that annoying to me? So doing all of these things, I've noticed that as a big thing. Like I just don't feel like I'm not on the end of my fuse, I guess.
So even
often.
the social feedback is improved.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, my friends, because I'm very type A. I think a lot of us in this industry are. And I'm so much better just being like, whatever. We'll see how it goes.
And it doesn't mean you're never going to have setbacks or bad days, but do you find them a little easier to deal with?
Yes, yeah. And it's that thing, like, say where I was sad on my birthday, that, like, instead of wallowing or having a breakfast Caesar or something and maybe kind of making my day a write-off of anything productive,
Right.
I did productive things and immediately felt better.
What about creatively?
Well, so for me, like personally, I find our work is very creative, and not feeling so stressed out. It's like easier to tap into that, I think, than when I was like really tired.
Oh, you're a better employee as well then.
Absolutely. Thanks to the support from the CBC. And then, of course, I love ballet and dancing and getting back to that because I had stopped taking my own ballet class. Like I was teaching a fair bit and taking the odd class. But when I kind of was like, okay, I need to do more things for me, I went back to the dance center where I had grown up. And every Tuesday night I get to go and I love it.
And this, you are my self-care hero. I am going to maybe one of these days go to one of your classes.
You should. It's very fun.
I've been threatening to do it for years, but
I'm here for it.
Megan, you're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you,
thank you.
guys.
That